Day 75, Chapter 18, page 263. The saints will not lose their lives. God will not suffer the wicked to destroy those who were expecting translation and who will not bow to the decree of the beast or receive his mark. I saw that if the wicked were permitted to slay the saints, Satan and all his evil host and all who hate God would be gratified. And oh, what a triumph it would be for his satanic majesty to have power in the last closing struggle over those who had so long waited to behold him whom they loved. Those who have mocked at the idea of the saints going up will witness the care of God for his people and behold their glorious deliverings. The people of God will not be free from suffering, but while persecuted and distressed, while they endure privation and suffer for want of food, they will not be left to perish. If the blood of Christ's faithful witness were shed at his time, it would not, like the blood of the martyrs, be as a seed sown to yield a harvest for God. God will provide. The Lord has shown me repeatedly that it is contrary to the Bible to make any provision for our temporal wants in the time of trouble. I saw that if the saints had food laid up by them or in the field in the time of trouble, when the sword, famine, and pestilence are in the land, it would be taken from them by violent hands, and strangers would reap their fields. Then will be the time for us to trust wholly in God, and he will sustain us. I saw that our bread and water will be sure at that time, and that we shall not lack or suffer hunger, for God is able to spread a table before us in the wilderness. If necessary, he would send ravens to feed us, as he did to feed Elijah, or rain manna from heaven, as he did for the Israelites. I saw that a time of trouble was before us, when stern necessity will compel the people of God to live on bread and water. In the time of trouble, none will labor with their hands. Their sufferings will be mental, and God will provide food for them. The time of trouble is just before us, and then stern necessity will require the people of God to deny self and to eat merely enough to sustain life. But God will prepare us for that time. In that fearful hour, our necessity will be God's opportunity to impart his strengthening power to sustain his people. Bread and water is all that is promised to the remnant in the time of trouble. In the time of trouble, just before the coming of Christ, the righteous will be preserved through the ministration of heavenly angels. No intercessor, but constant communion with Christ. Christ has made the atonement for his people and blotted out their sins. The number of his subjects is made up. When he leaves the sanctuary, darkness covers the inhabitants of the earth. In that fearful time, the righteous must live in the sight of a holy God without an intercessor. Will the Lord forget his people in this trying hour? Though enemies may thrust them into prison, yet dungeon walls cannot cut off the communication between their souls and Christ. One who sees their very weakness, who is acquainted with every trial, is above all earthly powers, and angels will come to them in lonely cells, bringing light and peace from heaven. The prison will be a palace, for the rich in faith will dwell there, and the gloomy walls will be lighted up with heavenly light, as when Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises at midnight in the Philippian dungeon. Could men see with heavenly vision that they would behold companies of angels that excel in strength, stationed about those who have kept the word of Christ's patience. With sympathizing tenderness, angels have witnessed their distress and have heard their prayers. They are waiting the word of their commander to snatch them from their peril. The precious Saviour will send help just when needed. It is impossible to give any idea of experience of the people of God who shall be alive upon the earth when the celestial glory and the repetition of the persecutions of the past are blended. They will walk in the light proceeding from the throne of God. By means of angels, there will be a constant communication between heaven and earth. In the midst of time of trouble that is coming, a time of trouble such has not been since there was a nation, God's chosen people will stand unmoved. Satan and his host cannot destroy them, for angels that excel in strength will protect them.